Kaylee Cuoco and Sam Claflin star in the MGM Plus original series, Vanished. When the man Alice loves disappears on a train to the south of France, every romantic memory becomes evidence. Every intimate detail, a potential threat. She thought she knew everything about him, but she may not even know his real name. 4-part thriller Vanished premieres February 1st on MGM Plus. Finding the truth is a dangerous affair.
Welcome to From Dorms to Desks, job hunting tips for those early in their careers. A podcast brought to you by College Recruiter job search site, which believes that every student and recent grad deserves a great career, and hosted by Work Defined. Join our AI co-hosts as they dive into tips, tricks, and insights that will help you land your next part-time, seasonal, internship, or entry-level job. Let's get your career started.
So, if you're out there looking for a job right now, and I mean, a lot of people are, you're probably spending hours on the platforms you trust most.
The big ones, yeah. LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter.
Exactly. Maybe you're even opening an email that looks like it came straight from a recruiter at a huge company.
Oh.
And you assume those sites are, well, fundamentally safe.
Right, you do. That's the whole premise.
Well, that deep-seated assumption of safety is exactly what these, innovative and extremely organized criminal groups are now exploiting.
It's a huge target.
Job scams have evolved. We're so far past those poorly worded texts we used to laugh at a few years ago. Now we're talking about highly sophisticated schemes. Mm-hmm. They're flourishing and they're preying directly on professional desperation with fake jobs that are often, and this is the scary part, indistinguishable from the real thing.
Almost impossible to tell apart.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Our mission today is to dive into the latest tactics these operators are using, look at the psychology of why even, really smart, tech-savvy people are getting fooled.
It happens to everyone.
And identify the specific, crucial red flags you need to watch out for to protect not just your money, but your entire identity.
And we absolutely have to start with the stakes. I mean, the financial and emotional toll here is just, it's devastating.
I saw the numbers. They're staggering.
They are. The Federal Trade Commission data shows online job scams jumped by 19% in just the first half of the year. That cost Americans close to $300 million.
$300 million. It's almost an abstract number, but the individual cost, that's what really hits home.
That's it, exactly. The typical victim loses around $2,000. Now, just think about that for a second.
Yeah.
If you're already out of work, you're already struggling, a $2,000 loss it's catastrophic.
It could be rent money, groceries.
Everything. And this environment is just tailor-made for these scams. The increase isn't an accident. It's directly tied to the current labor market.
Right.
The number of people unemployed long-term, we're talking 6 months or more, is hovering around 2 million. That's the highest it's been since 2022.
So you have a lot of people who are getting desperate.
Desperate and tired. You combine that long-term struggle with the fact that hiring has slowed way down, and you get this perfect, painful cocktail of desperation and urgency that the scammers are just, they're feasting on it.
They know you're tired of sending out resumes into, a black hole, and you just want to win.
Exactly. And you'll jump at the first good sign.
And we really need to get past this image of, some lone hacker in a basement. The sources are so clear that the quality of these fake posts is incredibly high because we're dealing with massive organized crime.
That is the crucial context here. Cybersecurity experts are linking a lot of these job scams to the same criminal syndicates in Southeast Asia.
It's the same ones.
The very same ones that have been running those high-profile romance scams you hear about on dating apps.
So, okay, if these are the same organizations, what does that tell us about their methods?
It tells us we are up against master manipulators. What's so fascinating here is that they're using the exact same playbook. It's called social engineering.
Right.
They aren't trying to hack a firewall or, plant some complex malware. They are targeting human psychology. They're targeting your emotions and your vulnerabilities, whether it's loneliness or, in this case, the urgent need for a paycheck, to get you to take risky, irrational actions.
So they're just exploiting trust. They know if they put a fake job for, say, a VP of marketing at a well-known company and they put it right on LinkedIn.
You're conditioned to trust it instantly.
Yeah.
Precisely. And Eva Velasquez, the CEO of the Identity Theft Resource Center, she put it perfectly. She said these fakes look so real, it's almost impossible for would-be job seekers to tell the difference. The goal is to just blend in completely.
And it works on everyone.
It does. The proof is that even people who work in fraud and cybersecurity are susceptible. They might catch the red flag eventually, but they're still applying in the first place, just like everybody else.
So once they've got you hooked with a post that looks totally legit, what are they actually after? The sources point to two main goals.
Two big ones, yeah.
First, they want to extract your sensitive personal information. And second, they want to lure you into some kind of quick, irreversible financial transaction.
Let's break down the money side first, because there are a couple of distinct ways they try to get cash or data right away.
Okay.
The first one is pretty straightforward. It's direct data theft. They ask for really sensitive personal info way too early in the process.
Like before you even have an offer.
Oh, way before.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about asking for a social security number for, quote, employment verification, or bank account details for direct deposit setup. A real company will never, ever do this before a formal signed contract is in place.
Okay, and the second major scheme is, it's kind of psychologically brilliant. It's this fraudulent check scam, but they've rebranded it for the remote work era as the equipment trap.
It is brilliant.
Yeah.
And it works because it plays on your excitement and your desire to prove you're a good, proactive new employee.
Just how does it work?
So here's how it unfolds. The fake employer offers you a remote job. It all sounds very official. Then they tell you that you need to buy expensive proprietary equipment, maybe a special laptop or software.
And they promise to reimburse you, I assume.
Immediately. Then the scammer sends you a check. It's totally fraudulent, but the thing is, it clears temporarily at the bank. And here's the key part. They often send the check for more than the cost of the equipment.
Oh, that's the hook.
That's the hook. They say, oops, we overpaid you. Can you please just send us the difference right now using PayPal or Zelle? We need to fix the books immediately.
And that's the critical step, because you see the money in your account, you think the company is real, and you rush to send that difference back through something like Zelle, which you can't reverse.
Exactly. You're trying to be a good employee. You think you're helping them fix a mistake.
Right. You're being competent.
By the time your bank days later realizes the original check was bad, the cash you sent is long gone. And now you're on the hook with the bank for that money. The scammer just vanishes with the difference.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Because even if you never lose a dollar that way, the data itself is gold.
Mm-hmm.
The information in your resume or, say, a written interview, even if the scammer gets no cash from you, that data gets monetized in ways that carry this huge long-term risk.
This is way beyond simple identity theft, where they just open a credit card in your name.
So what are they doing with it?
The data points from your professional life, your past employers, home address, phone number, maybe even answers to security questions. That can all be combined with other stolen data to create a perfect profile for something called synthetic identity fraud.
Synthetic identity fraud?
Yeah, it's where criminals build a whole new identity that never existed. They mix real pieces of your info with fake pieces to create new accounts that are much, much harder to trace and clean up.
Wow.
So Eva Velasquez was right when she said your data is oftentimes just as valuable, if not more so, than small amounts of cash. Because they could just keep monetizing it for years, long after you've stopped your job search.
Hi, I'm Carmen Hudson. I'm the host of the Recruiting Book Club, and we're starting our second season. I'm so excited to bring to you another set of guests of recruiters who have written books. We are excited to have some very special guests this season. We've got Shally, we've got Craig Fisher, James Ellis, and quite a few other people that we're going to bring on board to tell us about what they wrote, why they wrote it, and maybe we'll veer off into a conversation about recruiting on all types of topics and subjects that happen in our industry. So I hope you can join us. I'm excited.
That really puts the risk into perspective. You might think you dodged a bullet because the job offer fell apart, but no, they already got what they came for.
Absolutely. And to show you just how easily these sophisticated scams get past our normal filters, let's look at some real stories of people who almost fell for them.
Let's start with Dave Peterson. He's such a perfect example because his day job is in cybersecurity and fraud detection.
You'd think he'd be immune.
Right. But he was contacted about a head of communications role at the outdoor clothing company Arc'teryx. Everything looked right. He did a written interview, thought it was all going well.
Okay, so where was the tell?
The moment that saved him, the detail that finally triggered his professional radar, was when the phone interviewer started asking questions that were just totally irrelevant to a communications job. That prompted him to go back and really scrutinize the first email he got. And there it was, a tiny, almost invisible red flag. The email address domain was slightly off from the company's official one, like one letter was different. A spoofed domain designed to look identical at a quick glance.
That's so subtle. Most people would miss that.
Oh, easily. But he had the expertise to follow up. He found the real recruiter on LinkedIn, messaged her, and she immediately confirmed the whole thing was a complete scam. That tiny domain detail was everything. It just proves you have to have this, new level of paranoia about every single detail.
Even on trusted platform.
Especially then. Then there's the case of Timothy Brown, and this one really illustrates the direct exploitation of that platform, what the source is called the trust trap.
Okay.
He found a vice president of marketing role at a major crypto company, mToken, and the listing was right there on LinkedIn. Because it was on LinkedIn, he just didn't question it. He was thrilled when a recruiter texted him later that day.
But the interaction got weird fast. It became really unprofessional, which should always be a red flag. The recruiter started asking probing questions about his personal finances.
In a job interview,
No.
Wildly inappropriate. And then, for the final absurd twist, the supposed recruiter, Anna, started using flirty emojis in the text conversation.
Flirty emojis. For a VP of marketing role, you have to wonder what the strategy is there.
It sounds unbelievable, but it shows how these social engineers are constantly testing boundaries. They're trying to gauge your vulnerability, your commitment.
So what happened?
Brown eventually just stopped responding. Later, the real company, mToken, confirmed the whole thing was fake. They don't employ anyone named Anna. But Brown's big takeaway, and this is critical, was that the scam worked because LinkedIn is a trusted source. They use the platform's reputation like a weapon against you.
And let's move to Andrea Maestas. She applied for an admin assistant job at JP Morgan on ZipRecruiter. This one shows how fast they try to move to the data theft part.
She got a very official-looking email saying the company was interested, but before they could proceed, she needed to have a credit score on file. And it directed her to 2 links to supposedly verify this.
Classic phishing, just repackaged for a job hunt. It plays on that urgency, that desire to be compliant.
Luckily for her, her computer security was set up well, and it warned her the links were unsafe. She reported it. ZipRecruiter took the account down, but she said the scammers were clearly preying on that desperation or that fear that people feel when they're job hunting.
That pressure to not mess it up is the weak link in our psychological armor.
We also have to briefly touch on the other category of fraud here, which is the service scam. This isn't about getting a fake job. It's about paying someone to help you get a real one.
Right.
Jennifer Peters, a single mom, was looking for work and lost $60 to a man she met on LinkedIn who claimed to help job seekers with their resumes. He took the money and just disappeared.
And the emotional fallout from that is huge. She said she felt embarrassed and so ashamed, which just highlights that these guys don't care how small the theft is. They are targeting people who are already under immense pressure, and they see them as easy targets.
So, if the scams are this sophisticated and the criminals are this organized, what are the platforms themselves doing? I mean, are they just sitting back and letting their credibility get destroyed?
No, they're in a massive game of catch-up, and they are fighting back with tech and with new policies. ZipRecruiter, for instance, uses internal algorithms and systems to try and automatically detect and take down posts that violate their terms.
So it's a reactive fight.
It's totally reactive against a constantly moving target. And LinkedIn, which is arguably the most affected because of its professional reputation, has had to roll out some pretty substantial changes.
What are they doing?
They're expanding verification systems for employers. More importantly, they're now requiring members with certain recruiter titles to actually verify their workplace.
So you can't just call yourself a recruiter for Google anymore.
The goal is to make that much, much harder. They're also trying to automatically move suspicious messages into spam folders, so you're less likely to even see the initial contact.
That's good, but at the end of the day, the burden of vigilance still falls on the job seeker, you know? No algorithm is perfect.
Absolutely not.
And LinkedIn actually urges people to look for 3 really crucial red flags right away.
Look at what are they?
First, look critically at the recruiter's profile. Does it look thin? Like, do they have very little activity and very few connections? A real recruiter will have a robust, verifiable network.
Makes sense.
Second, sharing personal information too early. That is a hard stop. Never give out your bank account or social security number before a real offer letter is signed. And third, watch out if they immediately try to take the conversation off platform to WhatsApp or text message.
That's a huge red flag. They're trying to get away from the platform's security filters.
Exactly. And if you want a real sense of the sheer scale of this problem, get this. There's a guy named Jay Jones. After he was laid off, he started seeing these sham companies everywhere.
So he took it upon himself to just start voluntarily reporting scams. In less than 2 years, he has personally flagged about 32,000 fake jobs and 7,000 fake profiles.
32,000 from one person.
One person. It's unbelievable.
That really underscores his point. People are operating under this false assumption that every opportunity is trustworthy just because the site is trustworthy. It is, as he put it, a massive problem that requires a massive shift in how we think.
The scammers are just more agile than the platform's defenses.
So to kind of sum up the core insight here, it's the combination of widespread long-term unemployment and the sheer focused sophistication of this social engineering. It just means critical thinking and extreme caution are more essential than ever. The bar for scrutiny has been permanently raised.
And as we said at the start, these are often the same highly effective psychological operators running both job scams and romance scams. They know how to tap into your deepest hopes and vulnerabilities, your need for money, for stability, for validation.
Which raises an important and maybe unsettling question for the future. How might the next wave of job scams use emotional connection or deep relationship building, moving way beyond just sending flirty emojis, to keep victims engaged, obedient, and vulnerable over a much longer period of time?
Turning the entire hiring process into a long con.
Exactly. A multi-week hiring process that's really just an elaborate con designed only to extract deeper, richer data and ultimately larger financial commitments. Something to consider as you continue your own professional networking out there.
This has been From Dorms to Desks, job hunting tips for those early in their careers. A podcast brought to you by College Recruiter job search site, which believes that every student and recent grad deserves a great career. Each episode, we dive into tips, tricks, and insights that will help you land your next part-time, seasonal, internship, or entry-level job. Subscribe to this podcast for free now, so you don't miss an episode, and visit www.collegerecruiter.com to find your next great job.